So open. Them island boys, watch out, boom. Right now we under, we rum and we sensei. English harbor, you know we drink plenty. Hustle hard, rich and pocket never empty. Give thanks to blessings, it a shower, it a flow. Well, it's a rum table. Yo, Shaq, pick up yourself on this podcast. You don't know what Just Stick represent and you're listening to the Rum Table podcast. So open,
Boom.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Rum Table podcast. As usual, it's your boy Richard, aka Real Big Man Thing.
You don't know, it's Shaq, just Shaq.
But honestly, today we have a really special guest in the building now. I'm very, very happy to have this guest here. I've been a fan for a while. I've seen this man blow up incredibly. You probably think he's not as big as we think he is now, but he's huge. So, honestly, thanks for being here. We have Seniorgumboy in the building.
Senior?
Yes, it is a pleasure to be here.
The one and only.
You know, I just have to wonder, like, how can I get a nice little dub like that? Because that intro there, that was a nice little.
Honestly,
I like that.
We rate you so much. We'll just get you one for free. You know, we'll set you up. If we'd be honored to be your new intro. You know.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, man.
Okay. But honestly, before we get into this man's lifestyle, what he's done for us, the West Indians, even the Americans, the North Americans, for everybody, we have to start with the rum facts. You already know it's a rum table. Today we're drinking the Mount Gay Rum. You understand?
So, yeah, this is the Mount Gay Eclipse.
Yes.
Heritage version.
Yeah, we have a facial expression going now. Well, you don't.
Well, I don't know how you bring the Jamaican on the podcast and bring out the Mount Gay.
I'm not
gonna be. You know, there could have been a local Ray nephew or something, a local Appleton or something. But it's all right.
I'm not gonna say we did it on purpose, but we might have done it on purpose.
People that might take me for Papa Show. People.
Hey, it's Mount. We're drinking Mount Pleasant.
Mount Pleasant. Yes,
right,
Mount
Mount Pleasant.
Have a look at Mount Pleasant.
Eclipse version. So yeah, Shaq, as usual, kill us with the facts, man. While I start pour up or something, you know.
All right. So Mount Gay, a company founded in 1703. You don't know. Made in Barbados. This rum here is Bajan rum. Unfortunately for Senior right here, but this one here is a spice rum. Again, another spice rum. We seem to have some kind of trend going on. It's a blend of rums distilled in a traditional copper pot. Column stills. It's matured in American whiskey casks, which I'm not sure why, but that's all I see for all these spice rums is always American whiskey cask. This specific one here is aged in 3 years or less. It's got 40% alcohol. It's good for cocktails. Somebody say it's good on the rocks. I don't know. I guess we'll taste
possible.
right now.
It's possible.
It's not really my thing.
You can do that, man. You can dip on the rocks, man. We're drinking tonight. We're drinking.
yeah. And it's a simple rum. You know, it's nothing too special, nothing too fancy, but it gets the job done. It's a solid rum. And,
but it can work tonight.
It's gonna have to work.
It can go on still.
All
It can go on.
So I mean, cheers to you, Bridget.
Cheers, my G.
Mount Pleasant it is.
Cheers,
Shaq,
yes.
you have to drink it straight in a Shaq.
Right,
I'd like to know what you think.
Yeah, because I feel every time I try, was it 2019? I was going on a little rum tour or just a kind of alcoholic beverage tour. I was going to the LCBO and I was trying different things just to see how it was. And my rule of thumb is if I haven't tried it before, I can't mix it. Like you can never mix.
You just go straight.
Yeah,
from
you
the
just
beginning?
go straight from the beginning. So
Interesting.
you get the nodes and all these things. So that's just kind of how I do a rum or something.
That's
that I
nice.
have never
That's a
tried
nice
before.
vibe.
Okay, I didn't realize we're gonna add that to your resume too. Rum
Yeah,
connoisseur.
rum connoisseur, man. Hey, go on,
All right, then.
a man of many trades.
I've been into the spice rums a little bit more myself. There's this one. What's it called? So it's made by Bacardi. I don't know if you guys have tried it. It's called. Well, it used to be called Oakart.
Oakart.
Yeah, it was, and now they call it Bacardi Spiced.
We've had Bacardi Spice.
Spice.
I didn't know the old name though.
Yeah, so it used to be Oakart, and then they rebranded and made it Bacardi Spice. But that one as a spice rum, actually, that's kind of like my go-to.
Jeez, we're getting more rum facts.
My go-to right now.
I like that. Respect for that though. So I mean, we can just jump right into it, you know. Talk to us. Tell us about yourself. How did you start?
Yes, so
tell the people then what you do. I don't wanna brag for you, but yes.
Yeah, so my name is Seniorgumboy. My mom calls me Dirty Boy sometimes, depending on her mood. But I guess I would categorize myself as a influencer. I guess that's a popular term now.
Yeah.
And a photographer. A lot of people don't really know I do photography.
Right.
But I would consider photography like my profession.
Realistically.
Yeah, realistically, I would say I'm a professional photographer. And then I just kind of.
You're not gonna say that you do so like influencing on the side.
No, I would
casually.
Yeah,
on the
I wouldn't.
side.
I think it's kind of past the point of on the side now. So.
Because that's for sure, that'd be bragging right there. This man you have videos that's doing 10 million views.
Yeah, there's
Imagine you say to me, I do 10 million views on the side, but photography is what I take seriously. Come on.
Yeah. So I got into the whole the influencer or YouTube world basically just because I've always been haunted in my mind, and you just those random thoughts that you kind of keep to yourself or whatever. You think, oh, that'd be funny. And back when people were kind of doing their thing on YouTube, I saw a couple videos like, oh, I could do this. Mm-hmm. So I basically made a video. It was like what, 2011 or something like that. It was like so now a long time.
Yeah, that's 10 years.
And then now about 2013, about 2 years after that, I did like another one too, and then 2013, that's when I was like, oh, people were like, oh, you can make money off YouTube and things. I was like, oh shit, like I actually enjoy doing this,
right?
And I can make a local money. So I just started to come up with more concepts and me being from Jamaica, but now living in Canada, I got a lot of inspiration from the world and the upbringing and the background and so that's what I focused on in my content and it's connected with people around the world in many different countries and it still kind of surprises me,
of course,
where the videos can go and the reach and whatnot. So yeah, that's kind of how I got into the thing and it's been a passion. It kind of what kind of motivates me is like this, like we're talking earlier, talking about the Caribbean and representing and stuff like that. So
indeed.
Right.
Yeah, so that's kind of I want to be a positive representation for
Yeah, I can see you being considered a positive influence as well, because I've never seen one of your videos and I really thought like it's too graphic. I mean, obviously,
or the derogatory, or like that too much.
You know how the West Indian culture is. It is sort of derogatory, certain songs and whatever. But it's not like I can't be like, yo, I can't show my son this.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some
of them maybe, but
I wouldn't. I can't think of one. If you can remind me, because I don't think you can just create. I personally, I don't know. Guide me. Am I forgetting things? I've seen so many of your videos, and I've refreshed my memory on some too. Some which I hadn't seen in a while, and I'm like, it hits me every time. It's like, yo, it's so funny. I remember just looking over at the one you did with we were just watching that again today, Shark. The one with you doing the cleaning video.
Yeah.
It's insanely relatable.
Yeah.
This, for those that's listening, he does a video as basically as a Jamaican and how other people clean, which insanely is relatable. I remember seeing this years ago, and I saw it because it was an old man sent it to me. Now it was my wife's father sent it to me. By the way, he's a Chilean guy. Yeah. I don't know him of having any Jamaican friends.
Yeah.
But he saw the video and thought it was funny, and he thought I would find it funny as well.
Yeah.
And he sent it to me, and he's like, and I said to him, I've already followed this guy. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
And which is interesting too, you were doing shoveling outside in the snow.
Yeah.
So for those that don't know, you're based here. Have you always been in Canada? Like, what's your story in terms of that?
Yeah, so I left Jamaica when I was pretty young. I left Jamaica when I was 5, right? So I spent majority of my life in Canada and kind of become accustomed to the Canadian maple syrup and ketchup chips way of life, right? So
because you pull off the Canadian sides very well. Very, very well. I just saw a video you just did and you had the ketchup chips as well in the video, and a lot of people pointed out how it was kind of subtle because you weren't trying to be Canadian, but you have the ketchup chips to show people how subtle you can be by also representing them, which is why I say it's so relatable and yet it's not derogatory in a sense, right?
Which is how you know how big the videos them are.
Yeah,
that people are dissecting videos by ketchup chips.
Yeah, you know, because even again, just the way my mind works, and I think I have to give a lot of credit to the photography and whatnot, right? Because it teaches you. Like with photography, you have to pay attention to details, right? And the subtle nuances and whatnot. So, you know, every time I do my photography thing, like I have to kind of be on guard to watch people's mannerisms, catch the moment, see what's going on in the room, study a room, and kind of study people's behaviors and whatnot, right? So, kind of when I'm building my skits, I always try to put those nuances in there, you know, to make it even more relatable or more real, or just catch someone in that little moment, like, oh yeah, the ketchup chips, like, you know, it's a thing that Canadians will know,
right,
like authentically, right?
For sure.
So wait, you thought about all of that when you?
Yeah.
Right, I thought it was just a cat. I thought it just happened.
Just the things.
It's very interesting. And you do these impressions of other people in places. Even a Canadian, I see him do like the plaid shirts.
Yeah.
You know, it's just these little subtle things. You know, and then the different types of Canadian people, where it's not just a plaid shirt, then there's a Toronto man's and all of that. It's very interesting how you do that. And from what I understand now, even just like your YouTube alone is like over like 150,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
You've got, do you consider yourself big?
No, realistically, I don't consider myself to be big. I consider myself to be like a familiar like face, you know, or familiar personality, right? And I think, like what people think of me is like I'm relatable,
for
right?
sure,
like,
for sure,
you know,
for sure.
Yeah, so I think people think, you know, I'm a chill guy that, you know, just does the videos, and I would hope that people can relate to me, right? Because I try to carry myself like as not like really a stush person, or I really don't think I'm better than anybody, because I know there's people out there who, you know, and I just try to keep things humble and stay grounded and stay focused. So
we appreciate that, honestly, even for you to say, yo, I'd come on the podcast, and I'm sure we'd get a boost just from you being here, but we do appreciate everything you've been doing, you know?
100%.
No problem, 100%. No problem, you know?
You didn't, when we reached out, it was like, yo, you think he's gonna
that was like
of course.
the discussion.
Yeah, why wouldn't I? Because like you're saying, you don't think you're big. Honestly, I think, you know,
remember,
for sure.
we not have no YouTube videos out there like that.
right. You know, it's not anybody achieving them kind of numbers, I don't think.
Yeah.
No, it's not just a casual.
Right.
Yeah.
And you have numerous videos in the millions. Numerous.
Yeah. There's a few of them.
You know, I noticed too that you started pivoting to the reels. I remember I spoke to you a few years back. I don't think it was that long. You had done this video when this song went viral, the Don't Rush song. And you know, there was a thing where people would do the girl thing in the makeup or whatnot. I'm sure a lot of people remember those. But anyways, you absolutely destroyed it when you did like the plastic bag.
How the gallon was on it.
Yeah. The amount of people. So I messaged him and I said, yo, can I repost it?
Yeah.
Right? Because it's absolutely hilarious. It's beyond hilarious. And it's weird too, because you did something where it's already going viral. Everybody's doing it, but you still managed to do yours different.
Yeah.
That's when I'm like, okay, this man is different. This man is a different human being, because the song is going viral because of TikTok, in a sense.
Because of the trend.
Remember the trend. And everyone's doing the exact same thing with the makeup, but you still manage to maneuver it differently than what everybody else is doing.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, that's crazy. Yo, can I repost this?
Yeah.
The man said, yeah, man, got you. Repost it, right? I reposted, Shaq. I swear on my life, it's probably one of the most views I've ever gotten in my story. Yeah. And I couldn't understand it, because then, you know, now I got enough. I'm like looking through my stories. I'm like, why all these people people that have connections to people I have connections with are going to my story now to see it. Because what happens is they were doing the same challenges and then they realize, no, this is even funnier. You know what I mean? And it was so many people messaging me like, yo, that's so hilarious or whatever. And I had to repost it too because it ended up taken down because I think it was the sound or something. And I messaged you. I'm like, yo, how do you get around the sound? Remember? And you told me something about you have to
turn it down.
Turn it down or something like that, right? And I did and it worked. Which leads me to ask you, like, have you ever had anything that you put up before that you couldn't I guess got taken down or whatnot as an influence? I'm assuming that's a
it happens. I mean, there's a thing a couple years ago in like for all the people who are heavy on YouTube, or it was called there's like a YouTube apocalypse or whatever they kind of called it.
YouTube apocalypse. You ever hear that?
Yeah. I haven't. So basically, what happened was
this is like an inside information thing.
That's the EULA thing.
Yeah. No. So basically, what happened was there was a lot of like videos on like terrorism and different like shady subjects that were being run on like kids videos, right?
Okay.
And like people who were bought ads, but like it was like the Taliban and stuff like that were being on videos that were for Disney. And then basically it was just due to the algorithm. So YouTube was losing a lot of sponsors. So like Walmart, Toyota, like big companies were pulling out of YouTube because like basically you guys have to fix this.
Right.
So YouTube's response was to kind of just start to, I guess they built an algorithm where if it like felt there's something with your video, they would strike it. So either demonetize it so you can make money, or they would actually pull it down, or it would get
like flagged in
certain countries. So that was happening a lot across YouTube. And even for me, and there's some videos that they restricted it, so it would only be in one country. So there's actually some videos that I went back and I've deleted them off the channel
because you just couldn't get
to expand
it.
You just couldn't get it to expand it. So I was just like, all right, let me take it down, and if ever one day, like I may put it like maybe for example on my website and make it like an exclusive thing.
Oh, I see.
So I just didn't bother, like, because everyone was going through it. Other than that, if the whatever platform says, the song is like kind of copyrights and stuff like that,
that's big.
That's usually the
most
thing.
common one, right?
Yeah. So there's some videos where I just had to just delete it, or I think TikTok is a little bit more serious with it because there's another challenge where it was like the one where the girls do something, and I did basically a video where my girl did kind of like the transformation, and then I was like the jealous boyfriend, and I came in with like a little fake gun, a plastic gun, and TikTok was like, nope, not on our platform. You can't do that. Yeah, and
even though it was a plastic gun.
Even though it was a plastic, they said no, that's not.
But you had posted it on Instagram.
Yeah, and it was fine on Instagram, but TikTok, it's a different thing. They're like, no.
Interesting.
Which is crazy that all the different platforms are so different. You have to navigate that.
Exactly. They all have their own little rules or tidbits, and as a creator, you kind of just have to navigate, right? And know that at the end of the day, you can't really take it personal, and you have to know how to pivot, right? Because at the end of these are private companies, right? They made their rules, so at any point they could be like, well, go away, like like this is our thing.
Of course,
right?
It's not yours. Yeah, you're just
So I think that's where a lot of creators kind of don't realize, and you have to build outside of these platforms, right? Kind of build your own community, build your own hub. And I kind of like kind of noticed that like about 2018 2017 2018 is that where I like my mind kind of switched and was like, okay, I'm making all this content, I'm doing this stuff, I'm people are laughing, people are recognizing, but how can I kind of make this like a longevity thing, right? Like how can I like build this more into a business? How can I navigate and not have to rely on these platforms? And that's kind of where I seen the problem and start to kind of pivot and build outside of these platforms a little bit. So
by doing that, what was the take that how'd you go about it? So because I know you had a website.
Yeah. So I always had the website, but again, it was one of those things where you're on it for a little bit, and then I feel
hard
like
to update
yeah,
and stuff, right?
I feel like my website has expired maybe
Yeah,
about 4 times already.
outdated.
You know,
Yeah.
I had to rebuild it like 4 times
Right.
already. But
So, what in your sense of pivoting, how do you pivot something like that?
yeah, so basically I said, all right, I want to start to now mess with more corporate brands and stuff like that.
I've seen you getting deals and stuff. Now.
Yeah.
What am I doing? Like, what was it? The shea moisture.
The shea moisture,
What
yeah.
the blood
When
clot.
you're done, you have to
so-
make a whole skit for that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is impressive as well. What I've always wondered is why people's like ads are so corporate. Like your ads come in realistic. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
it's just it's with your brand. It's literally in line with your brand, what you already do.
Yeah.
And it doesn't feel like an ad,
Yeah.
which I've always rated that when creators do that.
Yeah, that's kind of the trick, the nuance it, because a lot of times, you know, creators will feel a ways about, you know, doing sponsored stuff because, you know, people maybe look like, watch it
sell out.
Sell out.
Him sell out.
turn rich and
Yeah,
switch
you
and,
sell
and do
out,
all these
right,
things,
right,
right? But
right.
but what a lot of people don't realize is, you know, creators or influencers or whatever, people too, and like people have bills to pay.
Yeah,
Of course,
money
of
has
course.
to flow.
And in no way, shape, or form should you just go out and take money from anyone just because
they're paying?
because they're paying you. Because
Yeah.
again, it's a thing where people can sense authenticity, and when you're just doing something for a local paycheck or whatever, right? So you have to align yourself with brands that, you know, like you're saying, that actually, you know, are similar to what you're putting out there. You know, you can't be an exercise guru and
Right.
and then you're come talking
McDonald's
about
ad.
yeah, right, exactly. It doesn't make sense. People are like, what are you talking about
So how do you go about getting a brand deal or partnership with
with
like shit?
whatever? So a lot of the times, when you're at a certain level, they'll kind of come to you. But for the
you hear them things?
Remember we said when you're at a certain level, you see me?
all right. The man is showing off on us, but
No.
we understand.
No,
We
but
absolutely understand.
but people think even a level is not necessarily the numbers. The level is more so your following, right?
Right,
Because
right.
there's people out there with 100,000 followers, right? But only 20 people actually care and look. But
Fair enough, yes.
versus someone who has 5,000
like you
followers.
was talking about the solid following.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you can have
Oh.
5,000 followers, but you have an engagement where people out of that 5,000, 100 people are watching you. They
Right.
care. They're asking you questions, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
if we're looking at it like that, right? So it's not necessarily a numbers game. It's the numbers are matter, but not as much as people may think.
Not in terms of subscribers. Because I've heard a lot of people on YouTube, and I've always been interested. They always talk about their engagement matters more. Right?
Exactly, it does. It really does. Your engagement kind of matters more than your subscribers. Right. Subscribers looks good on paper and stuff like that because, you know, we're people, we think like, oh, big numbers, big thing, you know.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, just having an engaged community that actually really you know, follows you and cares and asks you questions, and guys can go back and forth.
Right.
That's where you will win, and that's where you'll maintain for years, and they will grow with you. And if you come up with some sort of product and thing, when the man, you know, get the rum, the exclusive rum, you know,
Which is coming.
right?
Gotcha, yeah.
The people they're gonna buy it because they care. They followed your journey. They're invested.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, that's the word.
So basically, if they don't holler at you, then don't be afraid to holler at them. So you find the person's email from whatever company you're trying to go be a part of. You may message them on Instagram, you know, and just say, hey. But you have to come with a solid plan. You can't just be like, "Hey, I like your brand,"
Right.
and then expect them to be like,
Yeah,
"Okay,
yeah.
you want to work with us?" No, you
Right,
have to be like, "All right, hey, I like your brand. This is what I got going on.
Right.
You know, these are my
These
numbers.
are your stats and
these are
whatnot.
my stats. You
Yeah.
know, this is how I see us working together. Right? Show them that you're invested. You have a plan. You thought about it, and that'll be more likely to get you." You know, the sponsorship or whatever you're trying to go for. So
Which, all right, I want to
Yeah.
plug two things real quick since we're speaking about this right now. You have a clubhouse pod. Is it what do you call it on Clubhouse? A pod or
I don't know, like a discussion, a group thing. I
Yeah.
guess, yeah.
where you
It's
do
like an open discussion, so to
Right.
speak, but it's on a specific topic.
right?
Yeah. So this was started somewhat recently. This is maybe about a couple months. No, this is maybe our fourth one now. I have a friend who used to be a PR agent, worked with like brands like NSC and things like that, right?
Yeah, I followed her. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, we're both from have Caribbean backgrounds. She's melanated as well, so and she knows the disparities of like influencers, like black influencers, right? Because unfortunate to say, but like a lot of things in life, black influencers kind of usually get the short end of the stick.
We have it difficult.
Yeah,
It's just
right?
black in general.
Yeah. So they want to pay you less. They want you to work for products, and I noticed that over the years, and
Really?
with her background, she knows it because she was
in it.
She was in it, right, from the corporate standpoint. So we just said, yo, let's try to make the change that we want to see. So we started this group basically trying to connect black influencers, more specifically to Canada. So Canadian black influencers and black businesses to kind of come together and raise quality and give people awareness, because like a lot of it is education, right? Like the business aren't gonna know that we should be paying this person this much for this type of work,
right?
Because we don't really talk about it, right?
You're right.
So
they wouldn't know, and you're just happy to get a paycheck for it.
Exactly. And influencers don't really know, okay, I should probably be charging this much, or how to check my engagement rate and all these things. So we're just kind of trying to be a hub to kind of teach and build another type of community within.
But what made you want to do that? Because do you feel like because from what I'm getting from you is that you don't feel like you're at the top of your game yet, right? So what makes you feel like, what makes you want to in the between of you still building your brand, even though your brand is out there, like you said, you're recognizable in a sense, but am I wrong to think that you don't feel like you're at the top of the game?
No, I don't think I've reached like where I want to be. I feel like I'm still growing, still learning, still experimenting, trying different things. But for me, again, I've always also been a person that I like to help people, and if I know I have a little knowledge and stuff like that, I have no problem sharing it, right?
Yeah, respect for that, for sure.
Which we need more people like
that.
Yeah,
man, respect for that. That's huge.
Yeah, and from again, coming from the Caribbean, I know. The things that we go through, and I just want to, what SRA said, I just want to see, I'm rooting for everybody black, right?
Yeah.
So these just kind of build off my core values and things, that resonate with me. So that's just kind of how I've kind of built the things and expanding. So yeah, it just came from a passion of just wanting to help people, right?
And when people want to you do that how often?
We do it every other week, every Wednesday, every other Wednesday, at 8 p.m.
Gotcha.
on Clubhouse. So you'll probably see it in my IG bio.
Yeah, for sure. I've definitely seen you posted before, because even the first one you did, we logged on for it.
Yeah.
So no, and it's very knowledgeable. So that's the reason why we wanted to have you here. Not only for the fact that we are fans of what you're doing, we think people can learn from you growing, and you can give back to the people in terms of explaining the type of struggles you go through and how is it that you got to this point. You know what I mean?
Speaking of giving back, have some more, because it look like a cup empty still.
Yeah, man, please, please. I'll pour myself up some more. Yeah,
I might get drunk.
You don't know where to go.
Nah, man, it's all good, man. But honestly,
that's along the lines of what this podcast is for as well, right? It's about like the perspectives of Caribbean people coming from the Caribbean. And
that's basically what we're trying to portray to the people, But have you experienced any? What was the struggles you experienced getting to this point? We're talking about you have thousands of followers on Instagram. People, I see you have engagements as well on Twitter. Like you're on every platform. Technically.
Yeah.
Before I get into the creative process in terms of what you're doing, what was the struggles like?
I think for me, like, the struggles was a lot with myself. kind of starting off, just being comfortable, right?
Also,
Right, because
you being comfortable was
No,
a
but-
problem.
No,
that's facts. That's facts.
just-
You're talking at the start.
yeah, well, no, even because even when I first started, like I never really did a lot of videos where I just spoke directly to the camera, you know, because it's a style of shooting where people they just speak to the camera and give their opinions, and it's like that, right? And I kind of gravitated more towards the skits because it's like, you know, you kind of take on a character and just do
Yeah,
it,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Right.
And
That's
I
very interesting, yeah.
never really felt I was good at just sitting down and speaking and you know, carrying a conversation and just going on.
Really?
Yeah, I felt I
What?
wasn't good at it.
So you felt like you were better at doing like skits
Yeah.
than to actually speak out.
Which makes sense
Straight.
because once you get into a character, it's like
Yeah,
you're
you
that
just
guy.
kind of
Yeah.
go with it, right? But
That's very, very interesting.
But after, you know, years of you know, like a year or two of kind of doing the videos and the characters and whatnot, you gain a certain comfort, and you just be like, all right, you know, like I'm all right, I'm
Right.
good. You know, you gain a confidence within yourself. I guess is kind of what happened.
Is it a thing where you didn't realize also that people just fuck with you? Like, it's not that people fuck with the characters, but people fuck with you, regardless of whether you're doing skits or not.
Yeah, it could be a little bit of that. Yeah, probably a little bit of that where you know, you,
Alright.
like, do people actually care? You know, that's kind of and you're like, oh, I guess people actually care and they're enjoying this, right? So you gain a confidence.
So y'all listening, if y'all are getting into the content
That's
creation
that's
game,
funny, 'cause
understand
I-
that there's people up here
yeah.
who's big, who's been doing it for
And it
10
was
years.
scared in
And
the
there was
beginning, technically.
Yeah.
I would have
All the
I would have
middle.
never guessed that.
Yeah.
I would have never guessed that.
because
Yeah.
Actually.
that's what people think, right? If you're gonna be putting your face out there like that, then you're
Then
confident
you're
already.
you're
you already
100%
had all the
confident.
confidence.
You're
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was having a conversation with your girl earlier because I've seen you guys in a video together, right? You guys have videos together, and she considered herself an introvert. And I was like, it was strange because I've seen you guys in videos staring at the camera talking.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I would have never guessed that, you know? But what's interesting with you saying this part, right? You had a series called What Would You Do? Right?
Yeah.
Which to me, if you understand, I'm telling you, I'm a fan, you know.
Yeah.
And then
He's
in that
the one actually put me
Alright,
on.
for
to
that
it.
one.
Honest, because it's okay. First of all, besides the fact of you actually being, I rate you honestly. My favorite, I guess, character of you is when you're doing the funny side.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it comes off so naturally and it's relatable. However, something about when you did like the theatrical side, as we would pretty much call it, right?
Yeah.
You're basically doing a scene which is also relatable. Anybody can relate to every scene you did. You did only a few segments, which we'll get into why you stopped.
Yeah.
But you did a few of those episodes, right? But it was different from what you were doing before.
Yeah.
So what made you do theatrical scenes where it was like it was so different from what you were doing before? It wasn't based off funny.
Yeah.
Which is what I was looking forward to.
It wasn't really like the slapstick
It
kind of
wasn't
comedy
no,
form.
it wasn't a comedy style thing. It was actually very serious, I
Yeah.
would think, right? And then I realized, okay, it's very theatrical. I was like, yo, I'm assuming this man is trying to get like a acting role at this point.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
man is trying to be the next Blade, the next James Bond or something. I wasn't too sure.
Yeah.
So what made you do comedy and then do theatrical, even though it was relatable?
Yeah.
What was the reason you jumped into that? The what would you do segments?
Yeah, it was again, it was just you know, you're in my you know, I can't really I don't know how other people's minds work, because I can only speak for myself, but just me as a person, I always kind of like just make up situations in my mind, you know, or you know, when you're in a situation and you're like, okay, I got out of that, okay, but what if it went this way,
Right.
And,
Which
100%.
anybody can.
right, and which
That's
everyone
me.
can do,
That's
right?
me constantly,
So
yeah.
so that's kind of how I build my skits, right? So I, you know, any idea I get, I usually just put in like in my little skit list in my phone or whatever, and I think maybe I heard a story or just that random thought of that. I'm like, yeah, like what would, you know, people do in this situation,
course,
right?
of
And I
course.
said, all right, let me just shoot it, and I don't really like to be kind of put in a box, like, you know, just of like, oh, he just does the comedy thing or whatever, right? So
Fair.
so for me, I always like to show I guess the range or the different things I do or different things I'm capable of, and also to kind of challenge myself really, right? Because I really consider myself to be a creative.
Gotcha.
Like if more so if you were to ask me what I am, I would
You're
say
a creative.
I'm a creative,
Gotcha.
right?
Right.
I create things, whether it be photography, the skits,
Yeah.
So that's really why I want to switch it up and do something a little out of the slapstick kind of vibe and to make people think in a way, right? So even with the comedy skits where you're talking about the little nuances and stuff like that, right? Like I do those nuances because I want people to think and reflect and kind of look at themselves, so that's kind of why I do the serious stuff and to play on like society and things like that, and what's maybe taboo or whatever, right? So
exactly.
Yeah.
Is that difficult for you to like pivot into something else that you weren't normally doing? I'm just wondering how the first conversation with yourself goes when you're like, yo, I'm gonna try this thing that I wasn't really doing on camera, and I'm gonna go. Because even me, I kept thinking of some of the scenes that you get. I'm like, how does he even get these people to do this? you know what I mean? There's be videos and I'm seeing a man that's just winking up on people. I'm like, I'm trying to understand how does he get to do these things, I'm like, so how do you pivot into the theatrical zone? And I'm like, I remember the first time I watched it. I've seen it several times.
Yeah.
I've seen all four. You did about four,
Yeah,
right?
about 4 did.
The first one I remember doing was very, very well done.
Which was that one with the friend and the
That was
girlfriend?
that was one with a friend.
Yeah,
right?
that was pretty
Yeah,
popular.
that was very, very popular.
Yeah.
And everybody can relate to something like that. So for those listening, it was basically him saying he's visiting his friend's girl because she wants to do like a surprise birthday thing. But turns out that she wants to instead get back at her man, but with his friend being you. And the question is, what would you do?
Yeah.
In being in that situation,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And it pretty much ends there, but it wasn't funny. It could have been funny. And every time I had seen it, I'm like, I know you could have made this hilarious,
Yeah.
but you chose the theatrical view where even the directing part, it wasn't so much, even the angles, how you had filmed everything, which is what I was telling Shaq. I'm like, a part of me was like a bit worried about in terms of having you on our show because we don't focus on the video aspect. We focus on the sound.
Yeah.
We're pretty sure we have the sound down packed.
It sound good still, man.
No, the sound
Appreciate
is
it.
down packed.
Yeah.
But in terms of a person like you, a creator who focuses on their video and the angles you have in your video, for example, little shit like when you do like your vlog thing, like when you went to Grenada,
Yeah.
you do simple things like you guys are walking through the airport. This guy has his fucking camera on the ground, right?
I'm glad somebody noticed,
No.
because how many times I have to I run go put on a shot. I'm glad
Listen.
Put down the camera.
No,
walk
no,
past
feel
it,
good now,
and then
Listen.
come back.
It's all worth it.
Let me tell you something about me.
Extra work, but it pays off.
No. Shaq. You know me. I don't notice shit ever. I don't ever notice shit. But when something is just odd to my brain, I'm like, it stands out. I'm like, why the fuck did he do that? And then when I see him do it, I'm like, oh, that's such a good shot. Because then I'm like, wait, is somebody filming them?
Yeah.
No, it's literally, he took the time out to be like, let me put the camera here, get a shot of us walking off. You know what I mean? I'm like, yo, I would never do that.
But that's,
also, because I'm thinking about what the fuck is the people at the airport going to think about me?
Yeah.
Leaving my camera on the ground. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't
And
think
then other
when it-
locations. I've seen you do it
true,
other locations.
like you said, you're creative, right?
Yeah, and again, it's that again, I strongly I hold it to the photography foundation.
Yeah.
Because when you're doing photography, like you have to get a certain camera. If you want a certain quality, right? And I always believe that quality matters because you could definitely shoot a stuff with your phone and whatever. And
Right,
there's people who become really big just shooting on their phone. That's 100%.
Yeah.
But you got to work with what you have, right? And you shouldn't go out and spend beyond your means or whatever. You should always work with what you have.
what you have. We've
And
heard that
but,
so many
yeah,
times.
but for me, like I was just lucky enough that
Loaded. The boss
yeah.
loaded.
No,
The boss loaded.
no, Sammy, I spend big money for them thing there, camera not cheap. You know, I was just lucky enough that I had like my
Sponsorship?
no. I spend the money. Like that, and that's where a lot of people get it twisted. They don't like to invest, right?
Right.
Because
If you're serious, you have to invest.
and a lot of people think like. My rule of thumb is if you won't invest the money in yourself, how do you expect other people to invest in you, right? So if I know I'm going for a certain quality, then I'll be like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna have to spend $1,000 to get this mixing board or whatever, right? Or this camera, right? And then just be like, yo, because I believe in myself and I'm gonna work hard to make the investment worth it.
Okay, so I have a question along that line. For the content creator that's boom, they came up on YouTube. Like nowadays, kids have come up on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
And you know, you're grown now, and people are in the discussion with themselves or their parents, like, "Yo, are you going to college?" But they want to be a creator on YouTube.
Yeah.
Just talking about that.
Yeah.
You have to work with your means and stuff, and eventually you have to invest in yourself. How would you suggest for somebody to go out and they're gonna start on YouTube, but they're deciding, okay, do I spend this little summer job money on buying a camera or should I start on my phone?
If you're just
Good
starting,
question.
I would start on the phone, but I would invest in maybe a light, right?
Like a
A ring light or something like that, right? Because if you can't afford to get the camera, get the light that will help your phone look better. Right. So get an accessory that, or or spend the money on a mic so your sound sounds better.
Right. Okay.
Right. And just if you can still go to school and be a creator, but go to school and take graphic design or something like that, right?
Okay.
Or go to school and take some sort of creative program.
Sound engineering.
So, yeah,
or
exactly.
something.
So then you're still working in the creative field, and then with your YouTube stuff, you know, it just helps. Like so.
Yeah.
I'm still, because my brother right now is like, yo, dog, I don't know if I want to go to school, fam. Like, yo, fam, I don't know, still, eh? I'm just like, no, just go.
Still go.
Because what you learn, it will still help you, right? Because
as long as you're going along that same field, right?
yeah, but I still believe that even though you don't work, you may not get a job in that field. Like going to school and you know, learning how to type proper emails and stuff like that, right? Or just
Manage time.
manage time management. It teaches you certain skills that will transcend into you know that life, like being disciplined. Again, you know, you have to be disciplined to get up to go to school 8 o'clock every morning,
absolutely.
right?
Yeah, for sure.
And then you have to be disciplined when you're a creator to get up and shoot the video and edit it
Right.
when you're not really feeling like it, right? So you still it will still teach you something. It'll still give you some sort of life experience, or that, you know, if you're smart and you know you do your thing right, you can take it and apply it in other places. So
was that a hurdle that you personally had to get over, where you're like, you know, you're creating content and blah blah blah, or you're doing photography, but today you don't feel like it?
oh yeah, for sure, 100%.
And you still fight it and get
yeah,
up and do it.
if you go into the world of being a creative, you kind of have to be a person where you don't need outside motivation a lot.
Okay.
Right? Because if you're a person where you need outside motivation and kind of like outside validation and stuff like that, I don't think you'll survive.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think you'll survive because
Well, there's my YouTube career.
yeah, because it's gonna be up to you, right? It's gonna, because the people only see the finished product, right?
Right.
And then between that, there's not gonna be anyone there to be like, oh, you're editing that video so great, right? They're just gonna wait for the finished product and be like, oh, that's so great, but like, oh, you got up and spent, you know,
Nobody cares.
an hour, you know, or 2 hours recording that and shooting those scenes. They're not gonna care about that part, right?
Nobody business.
So
They think it's easy, right? Because
Yeah.
they're just casually watching a video.
So it's really up to you to gain a certain motivation to keep it going, because there's gonna be a lot of days you're like, yo, boy, I don't even know why I'm doing this. Yeah, you're not in the mood, or something else happens in life. You know, we're all human. We all have problems. You know, your mom gets sick or something like that, and then you know it takes on you, and then you don't have the motivation to make the video again. And because, so it's really, you have to have a strong, like, self-motivating factor.
I can imagine.
It's different from a job, right? Because if you go work at a job, you know, you're getting fired, you don't show up just because you don't feel good.
Yeah.
You have to have that same kind of motivation if you're doing it for yourself. You have to
Exactly.
like think that you have to fire yourself if you're not.
That's right. No, that's basically right. And from what I understand, you use, well, I don't know if you still do, but you edit your videos and all that, right?
Yeah. So at first, I used, so even that video you're talking about, the what would you do with the friend one? A friend of mine, shout out my homie Brenda, right? She went to school for media. I think she went to York, Guelph Humber. And she
Okay.
basically did a media course where I think they did video, photo, like every kind of aspect, graphic design. And she was kind of more into the videos and stuff like that. And she actually knew how to edit better than I did. So at some of those earlier videos, she would shoot it and edit it for me.
Wow.
And I made a deal. I was like, yo, at the time I was making a look of money from YouTube. So I was like,
my God.
yeah. So I was like, yeah, whatever I make this month, I'll give you a certain, percentage of it.
Since you're editing
since
the
you're
video.
editing, right? Because for me, my rule of thumb is if you're doing something to help me make money,
Right.
then I feel you should make a money as
Right,
well,
right.
right? Like I think
That's gems.
right?
That's
to me,
gems
to
for
me
sure.
that sounds fair. Like there's no way like you're helping me to do something money, and when I make this money, I don't,
Right,
right.
like I don't know. So yeah, so that was our deal. And then after a while, you have to be self sufficient. So then I start to learn how to edit video.
Classes or no?
No, just kind of
playing around.
playing around. I mean, again, the good thing with YouTube,
You
There's
can learn anything.
Somebody made it.
right?
Yeah,
You can learn
whatever
how to
you're
build a
looking
car on YouTube if
Right,
you really
right.
wanted to,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, just learning, reading, doing what I got to do, and again, back to the photography thing again, because it gives you a certain eye. So the shots and if you pick up a glass, you get. I will take the time to get a shot of my hand touching the glass.
Yes,
right.
I've noticed.
Right,
I've noticed.
Right,
Right,
just
right.
because when I make my stuff, like I think of it like I picture things that like it's a movie. Like when I'm looking at things, I'm like this, okay, this is a scene, like, and I break things down. Like if Steven Spielberg or whoever was making this thing right now,
Yeah,
how would they do?
Yeah.
What shots would they get to
Right.
kind of add to the story and continue it on? So
Yeah.
Which when you were talking about Rich, when you brought up earlier the him putting down the camera and then walking past
Yeah,
to get
yeah.
that shot, it's like when I was back home, I was in film, right? And we would literally like climb a hill.
yeah,
We would climb a hill,
yeah,
just to get a shot that we might use for 2 seconds. and everything.
you got to get the B-roll.
Because you have that kind of, because you have the vision. You understand? And
Right.
do you, in your case, doing the photography thing, right? Because I was surprised too to see you doing the photography thing. I just remember seeing you doing photography
Yeah.
out in the clubs for the first time.
Yeah.
In my head,
Yeah, what
I'm
am I-
like, this
yeah,
man, what am I?
what am
This
I- what
man
am I doing?
is huge. This one is huge. And right, I'm like, oh yeah, he must be doing the man a favor. 'Cause this one is large. Yeah, check.
Little did
But
you know
then
that's just the
from-
side thing that you've been seeing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But then from talking to you, I realized that photography as well is like your passion. Which, I see you post your pictures as well. I see other people posting the pictures you've taken of them, celebrities as well. Right? So it's like, how do you get into that? What made you get into photography realistically? I don't think we got into that.
Yeah, so the years ago, kind of a little bit before I started the YouTube, I had a job at this photo lab. Just one of those random
Photo
jobs.
lab, shoppers.
No, it was
Shepherd's
it was like a mom and pop kind of company.
Gotcha,
This
okay.
husband and wife owned it, and they basically would print a lot of professional photographers' photos.
Right.
So professional
They come in for
photographer,
the-
because they they had a certain eye. They had the machines that could print bigger things, and at the time we had a contract to shoot photos at a local college.
Okay.
And then growing up, I never I want to be an astronaut or anything like that. Like
Yeah, yeah,
at a certain age, like
president.
yeah, like I feel like for most people around high school, end of those times, you kind of like that little pitney dream that you had, you
It
realize
dies.
like shit.
Yeah, that dies.
I gotta go to school for 13 years to be a doctor. No, so, like you're like
That can't
let me
work.
become a plumber, yeah. So
Right.
so yeah, so at the time I was kind of like, I knew I wanted to travel and meet new people all the time. I never knew what the career was per se, but I knew I wanted those two things out of the job that I did. And then when I was working at this photo lab, they needed some help, and they're like, oh, you want to go help them with the pictures or whatever. And I was
Yeah.
like, all right, cool. So I remember the people I was working with at the time, like, they're like they were older than me at the time, but they weren't like old, like, they're maybe 10 years whatever. I mean, so they're like, yo, this is kind of cool still. Like, there's different people coming in, they're having the conversations, and it was a vibe, and like my personality, like I like people, right?
Right.
I like to interact with people, and I'm like, okay, this is it, okay, and we have to travel here, and then they're gonna go to the next location. I'm like, yeah, this photography, I like this.
Yeah.
And again, even before, like, I always had, the overactive mind and enjoyed film and drama and kind of acting and stuff like that. So yeah, I bought my camera. Before I even used it, I remember I bought a big must about $1,500 camera.
Ooh.
Right? Like I just
And
said,
this was back
then, right? So it was expensive. I said, you know what? If I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna spend the money one time, because I'm a thing. I rather spend the big money one time than have to buy, spend 3 look of money, and then you end up spending more,
And then still buy the 1,500.
right?
after
And then
that,
still have to buy it after. So
This is before you got into the influencing career?
yeah.
So, but
So I got into
I didn't know
photography
that.
for it. Yeah. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I bought the camera for photography.
Interesting.
Yeah, and that it didn't even shoot video. So it was just literally
just pictures
It was
only.
just strictly for
So
photos.
you spent the 1,500 before you even started taking pictures and stuff?
Yeah, before I was even a professional.
Oh,
Before I even
I
had a
thought-
gig, I said, you know what?
This-
I said I'm
What?
gonna buy the big camera, and I'm gonna get into it. And then
I don't understand. This is like high school?
No, this was after house. This was like this was
okay.
like college
Okay,
times.
gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, this was college time. So, I bought the thing. I learned. I read. I volunteered.
Wow.
And then I got good at it. And
from what I understand, you became like the photographer for certain even big name clubs and things that are on a regular.
yeah. So I started to do. I think it was a friend of mine was having a boat cruise. I think that was like maybe my first like gig. A friend of mine was having a nice little all white boat cruise.
Party.
And then I went and took the pictures, and I think that my mind has always still kind of like getting moments and seeing things a certain way and noticing little nuances.
Yeah.
So, I guess they like the pictures, and then, someone saw it like, oh, who did that? And they're like, oh, and then this person asked me, and then over the years I've, certain promoters and stuff in the city just kind of, I guess, like my photo style. And,
Of course.
Yeah. And they just
Yeah,
asked me.
no, I
Yo,
can't. I'm surprised.
I
Yeah.
have a question for you about that. Have you ever struggled with like having your own identity with how like you create content, or in regards to photos? Like I remember I bought a camera before too.
Yeah.
Same. I never shot no pictures or nothing, but I wanted to be a photographer for a bit, and I was like, yo, this is sick. Like I like capturing moments. And shit. But I had a identity problem where I didn't know what kind of photographer I wanted to really be.
Like a wedding photographer.
Or not really in terms of that, but
babies.
like what kind of shots do I really enjoy? Like I like a lot of different shit.
Is it that complicated?
Yeah, because some people do like more portraiture,
Yeah.
or like landscape, or
or fully creative shots?
yeah,
versus, like-
or like for advertising type of thing, right? There's different categories that photographers will go into. For me, a little bit, because I guess probably to my detriment a little bit. Well, not really, because if I was gonna say master of none, but I've heard it before. It's a popular saying, like but the real saying was like master of none, but better to be a master of all than none, right? So I've always been like, you know what, let me try it to know that I don't like it. So I tried the weddings, I tried the baby photography, like not really landscape. Surprisingly, out of like all the stuff, like I actually enjoy like kids photography the most,
Interesting.
because kids don't have those like adults, oh, my hair,
Yeah.
oh, how does
yeah.
like
Okay,
how
yeah,
the gal, how does my lashes look, like kids aren't gonna care like that.
How
They're
was
just
my
smiling.
makeup?
Yeah, exactly.
How was my
right?
makeup in that one? I blinked. I
Yeah,
think I blinked.
so I tried it all, and again, for me, like I stuck with the events. It pays the least, right? But the people are cheap. No, but it's kind of cheap still. But it pays the least. But again, it's I enjoy the interaction with people, like meeting people, like hearing their story, like and
You're
so-
a people person, so
Right,
something like
yeah.
photography will work for sure.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
No, fair enough.
I was
I know
about
we
to
don't
say,
have.
You need a top up.
yeah.
Yeah, we need a top up, but we also don't have him for the whole night. The man is a busy man. So,
Facts.
Shaq, I know you have a bunch of questions you wanted to let off.
Fast fire.
So I'll let you go through.
All right, all right. So one of them that I've always heard. I've never had it happen anywhere I've worked or anything like that. But
Yeah.
I've always heard that people have lost footage.
Oh,
Has there ever been any time you've been shooting your YouTube videos and you've lost footage, or even photography for that matter?
I've definitely had some hard drives fall.
Wow.
Oh shit.
And then the thing get wiped out.
No way.
And you have to bring it to where Canada Computers, big up Canada Computers. But
Yeah,
we owe me
big
some
up.
money,
Yeah.
because hey, no need to sponsor this.
Yeah,
Because
you mentioned them a few times.
yeah,
Huh?
yeah. So you go there and you have to pay $100 and something to get your files back.
Yeah.
That's happened. Oh,
At least you saved it. At least you saved it.
this past summer, I fell in. I was doing a gig.
Yeah.
I was working at an event and I fell in a swimming pool with my camera.
Oh no, man.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
I wonder if that's it. Is that what the post I saw you post
Yes,
about
yeah,
it? Okay,
yeah.
okay.
I wrote about it on my website. I've been
Gotcha.
blogging more, so I was at a party. It was an outdoor party. There was a pool there, and I was there snapping, doing my thing, and the next thing you know, I'm in water.
You-
just
You got your files back for that.
I got the files back.
Because I saw you post
yeah.
some decent pictures.
Yeah, I was able to save the files on the memory card, but the camera, the lens, the flash,
gone.
yeah.
Jeez.
The
So-
pictures that I saw you posted for that event was still splendid.
Yeah,
and I
yeah,
see you
thank
got
you.
celebrities again involved in that. It looked like a subtle thing, but yeah.
But for y'all listening, these are things that happen.
Yeah,
so the
yeah,
camera
yeah,
was
things
just
that
done.
happen.
The camera's gone.
Is there insurance for cameras and lenses?
Yeah, no,
and
yeah.
things?
You could get insurance. I mean, if you're a photographer and thing, you should get insurance for your things. Like,
Right.
especially when you have a certain amount of lenses and whatever, get insurance for it. So that's happened. I've dropped my last camera. I think when I was Moda one time,
Really?
I was there. I had it, and then someone brushed me. But it was by accident.
Accidentally, yeah.
And then I had my camera in hand. The way they brushed me, the camera just fell out my hand.
Oh,
And the whole back of it just cracked.
That's
And
crazy.
I was like, shit. But it's they're all tools, right?
Right,
And one thing, if you're in photography or certain industries where you kind of have to get these tools, you learn not to get too attached, and they only have a certain life. And about every 5 years you have to buy a new one anyway. So it's a tool of the trade. That's how I kind of have to look at it now.
yeah, especially with the way the technology is increasing.
Yeah,
and
so
shit.
gives them the excuse to bun out my money, so buy a new one.
All right, I got the next one here. I'm just
you,
okay. So
got you.
this is just me asking you questions.
Yeah,
as
man,
like
got you,
a
got you.
fan. You check.
no,
All right.
do your thing.
What is your biggest collaboration, and have you ever had a star moment? Like you buck up on somebody that's
Can an influencer as large as you still have star moments?
Star moments.
like if Beyonce walked in right now.
Yo, 'cause
just
I was
casually.
telling him,
Yeah.
you've done videos with a bunch of comedians.
Yeah.
They may not be like the hugest thing.
Yeah.
But for a person like me who I'm a fan of comedy, especially good ones. Like
Yeah.
you're really good as a comedian.
Thank you.
So I don't look at you as just an influencer. You're definitely an influencer because that's like the thing.
The thing-
now.
yeah, how to
you understand?
classify
But
it, yeah.
you're actually funny. You know what I mean? I feel like realistically, if you wanted to do stand up, you could do it.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
I did it a couple times.
That's
I
what
did
I'm
it a few
saying.
times,
You
yeah.
can't
Oh, so
if you really
so the man
wanted
really
to.
has done everything.
I'm telling you, jack of all trades kind of thing, right? But I've seen you do videos with a bunch of comedians
Yeah.
already, right? Like I was telling Chuck, just for example, you did a video with like Gallus in Paris before,
Right.
which is hilarious.
Yeah.
And Gallus in Paris is huge now.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
blown up big. And I was
Yeah.
telling Chuck, I remember seeing that back then. He wasn't as big as he was. He was big, but he wasn't as big
Yeah, yeah.
as he is now, for example. But yeah, can a person like you still get starstruck and what's big?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I've never really been like because I kind of sometimes feel that we kind of invest sometimes in stars that we don't know,
Right, right.
like without
I
like
agree.
knowing their true personality and what they
Absolutely.
stand
I
for and
agree.
whatnot.
Right.
So, I feel like this was maybe I feel like Drizzy Drake.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I feel like I'm having a Toronto man.
Yeah,
moment
man,
now.
got
Like
you, got you.
every Toronto man
I've
wants to
never heard this story.
call out Drake's
Call
name.
out the
right?
boss. How did that go?
No, this was like years ago when he was kind of like, after the first mixtape and album and stuff like that. And I remember I was through photography. I was shooting like his a show kind of at Cabana. That's where it is now.
Pool bar, whatever.
Yeah, but when the inside, and then we had a moment. I was like talking like, yo, like this is like, yo, you're doing your thing, dog. You're just like, a thing. And I was just like, oh shit, like this. Oh, you're chilling with the man. Stuff. Like, it was.
You realize that you've gotten even in the same.
Yeah, the vicinity and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, there's been a few people. What's just her name? Daphne. When I was in Blue Mountain, I think it was like 2019. I went to Blue Mountain again. I went there kind of as a photographer.
Right.
And she was doing stand up there.
Interesting.
And I was like, yo, I see your videos. They're dope. And I was like, hey, I do my own little thing, comedy thing. It's more on the Caribbean side, but maybe we could shoot something.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay. She's like, yeah, cool. Let's down. But the thing with the Americans though, I find with Americans, they are ready. Like when they say let's do something, they're like, let's do it right now. So I literally like, okay, so you want to shoot like tomorrow morning? Like now I was like, oh shit, no, I gotta go practice first. I gotta go write something. Like it caught me off guard.
Yeah. Gotcha.
American life is fast paced.
Yeah, it's definitely fast paced. But yeah, a lot of the people I've worked with, they're mad cool. Like White Yachty, like you said, Gals of Paris.
Right, of course.
Like Major Hype, we did a couple of videos before.
Yeah, shout out to Major.
African Ape.
I love the ones you do with him.
Dammy. So I've met a lot of cool people, done a lot of collaborations, and Prince Tryman. Yeah, for me, I'm all about collaborations. Like I always believe that it doesn't really matter how big someone is. It just always goes on like vibes and like what they're trying to bring to the table.
Right.
And if I like what you're doing and hopefully if you like what I'm doing, then let's come together and do something greater for the people. Sure. Right. So that's kind of how I
No, we absolutely love what you're doing. Like I said, I know you're busy. Shaq, you have anything else to question the man?
I don't think we have enough time. I don't think we have enough time in this episode for me to finish questioning.
We can't because, like I said, as fans and people that really look up to what you're doing, we could probably talk to you all night, which unfortunately we can't. But I will say that if you just keep on doing what you're doing, because we really absolutely, we expect you to be huge, especially if you continue where you're going. We never get into something which I think the people should know, which I actually don't know the answer to this. And you did explain it in a podcast a very long time ago. I think it was pre-Lime. I can't remember one of those podcasts, but you were talking about how you got into the name Seniorgumboy.
Okay, yeah.
Can you just, can you end it with that, Shaq, or you have another question?
I got one more.
All right.
But go ahead.
Go.
It's quick.
So basically the whole Seniorgumboy moniker came when I was a kid, still living in Jamaica before I came to Canada and thing. And my grandfather used to just always call me Seniorgumboy, like Seniorgumboy, come here. And when it was time to pick a YouTube name, I just I searched it, no one had it, and it just reminded me of where I come from,
right?
Being back home in the Caribbean, it just like put me like in a happy place. Like I think of home, I think of family, I think of culture,
the nostalgia moment,
right? And for me it was like a kind of like a way, like a note to just like remember where you're from. Like stay humble.
Where you come from.
Remember your roots.
What does that mean? What did your grandfather mean?
I never really knew up until like I feel like last year. I'm like I don't know. Maybe he was drunk or something. That's always been my thing. But my mom said my mom said he was like some like Latin warlord or something.
Interesting. I was wondering because
so.
I heard you explain it before, and I think the people are gonna ask, "Yo, how old did he come up with that name?" You know what I mean? And as I know, you want to be referred to as SGB for short,
Yeah, that's just something I start to put out there, just to make it easier because it's a little bit of a longer name, I think. So just either Seniorgumboy, SGB. Some people call me Senior, some people call me Gumboy. So just whatever people. It's easier for them. I
either
know.
Either way, respect.
Yeah.
Chuck, I'll let you end it.
I heard this question on a YouTube video once. So I said, "Yo, this is a sick question to ask you. If you had to delete all the YouTube videos you have on your channel, even on Instagram, anywhere, but just keep one back on the channel, what would it be?"
Jamaican cleaning, that same video.
Really? Right, why is that?
because that was, I think, like the quintessential video that kind of captured
Quintessential.
Yeah, see the words them.
Wait, hold on.
You see the words them.
Where's my encyclopedia? I've never heard this before.
Then you know some man a linguist, you know.
Yo, a Jamaican man just said quintessential.
Quintessential, you know.
Isn't that when girls quint?
Well,
what is that?
That too, you know. That too, you know. We know
When they
about
quint out, okay.
we know about the quintin.
Quint in the central.
Quintessential ladies.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a video that I think kind of really encompassed.
All right. It was a very nice.
Yeah, it was a video that really showed what I represent, right?
Gotcha.
Which was Jamaica, Caribbean culture, like music, fun, happiness.
Right. It was.
Right, and I think it was the video that really put me on a lot of people's radars.
It was broad. It was broad. Like I told you.
And gave that vibe and energy and that good feeling and that warmth that I think people think of when they think of the Caribbean, right? And the Caribbean culture. And so that video is the one.
Yo, that's respect for that, man.
It's crazy that you didn't even have to think about that.
Yeah, that's respect for that.
Boom,
Respect for that.
You're a solid dude. You're a
honestly,
solid,
where can the people reach you at, man?
Yeah, they can find me on Instagram, the Twitter is everything at Seniorgumboy. Also, I gotta show them, the Caribbean love shirt here. This is a line I started.
Was that the merch for the people?
The merch. You know, it's a line I started. Was it 2019? But to the the COVIDs. But yeah, I got a lot of big plans for it. I'm gonna have some shirts for you guys and things. So go check it out. Caribbean Love One on Instagram, and for me, Seniorgumboy on all platforms. And if you guys want to hear me talk, a lot of more things, then there's this platform called.
Please. For those that haven't followed him yet, please go to follow him. Seniorgumboy all platform. And honestly, respect for being here. We absolutely appreciate it. Honestly, I can't even show you the amount of seriousness that I mean by that. Honestly, respect for that. So,
and the links,
special, man.
The links are going to be in the description.
For sure. So thanks again. And you don't know, we'll link up on the next episode. You see it?
Boom.
When it's a rum table, yo, Shaq, pick up yourself on this podcast. You don't know what Just Sticker represented. You're listening to the Rum Table podcast. So